But like I was saying, she thought that she was the exception to the rule. So after she has had a full career, because a lot of women are in a delusion of, oh, men are just hating on her, this, that, and the third. A lot of men are still feeling salty after the Tory Lane situation, after she was caught, on doing interviews, and people felt like she wasn't being authentic in interviews. A lot of people are still feeling salty about that. But that's her business. What I'm saying is, when she came out talking about Klay Thompson had cheated, had her playing house, and this, that, and the third, I really think that she had desperately, from the looks of it, wanted to be taken serious. But the problem is, when you portray an image of lust, when you attract men using lust, using sensuality, using I'm gonna say, that thing, you're not gonna keep a man like that. You're not gonna keep a man interested. I don't know how many times people that are taken serious and serious people have to tell you that after men release and the clarity is there, they're out of there. They're not interested. And these women, they will pretend that a man, lusting is the same as love, and it's not. It's not. These same women confuse that. A man sleeping with you is not a man being in love with you. I don't care what you have to tell yourself. Oh, you got a bag behind it. Oh, he took you on a trip. None of that equates to a man being in love with you. And you need a man to be in love with you to extract certain stuff out of a man. And I'm not talking about in a wicked way, but to get protection, you have to be loved in order to get protection. And if a man is disgusted by you, he's not going to want to protect you. Does that make sense to y'all? So getting back to it, these women don't understand. Like, men will literally sit around and have conversations about which women they're going to take down for fun. Like, they're not looking at you like, oh, you're so much of a baddie. They're sitting around with their group of friends. And this is not men that are like, when I say men, I'm talking about real men. These are males, like males that are sitting around. They exist. They're attracted via lust. And this is going to segue into what the lesson is. So these particular type of males, they're attracted to lust. So they're sitting around with their homeboys, dapping each other up. I'm about to take her down. I'm taking her on a ride. She's not a for serious girl. She's a for fun. You are for fun. You a pour the drinks up. You are for fun type of girl. You not here for the long time, but a good time and a short time. Those are the type of girls that, and it's a certain aesthetic behind that. A lot of women do not want to face that. They do not want to face that. If you have the BBL aesthetic, if you walk around with your boobs and your behind out, certain types of aesthetic, certain types of look to you, certain type of uniform, men are not going to take you serious. And you could sit there and say, oh, I don't care about that. Then you obviously don't want to really attract men, or not a real man anyway, because males, they will come around to hit it and to make you a baby mama and to get you as another notch on the conquest belt. But to take you serious, no, they're not. They're not. So what was overstood but not understood was that she already has a reputation as a fun girl. So dudes will sit around, yeah, I could see why you would do that for fun. She's a for fun. So enjoy that while you have your turn. You know what I'm saying? That's the unspoken but spoken rule, right? So, and a lot of women confuse also. They'll bring you around their friends. These new age dudes, they'll bring you around their friends. They'll bring you around their family just so that they could size you up. Because she was on a message saying, oh, you had me playing house. Yeah, to extract whatever they're going to extract to use you and then throw you back. Because I showed the video scientifically. When you attract a male via lust and you have that side of his brain operating, it's the side that uses power tools. the side that wants to use tools, to use you as a tool. That's not what you want to be to a man. Like, you don't ever want to exist in that mind frame to a man. So these are the type of women, like I said, they promote all kind of lust and sensual immorality. You cannot be immoral and then want a man to exist in morality. I told you it does not work like that. So you're not the only woman that twerks. You're not the only woman that could pop that thing. You're not the only woman that does those things. In fact, you can find that wherever, like worldwide, you can find that. And to try to secure a man, and you thought you was going to attract him with that, and then think if I try to sprinkle in a little traditional values of cooking and cleaning, he could get a maid. he and you're not the only woman that cooks and cleans either. So it's kind of like, you want a man to be faithful, but you exist in sensual immorality. So you're feeding a lust demon that the man has. And demons only want to feed their appetite. They're going to go further and further. So you basically signed him up to cheat. You thinking that, if I dress like this, if I wear my boobs out or my butt out and I wear the nasty little pants with the separation, you thought that was going to keep your man home. When you basically lit the match for him to want more and more lewd things. So basically, rapping all them nasty little songs, a man just wants to see if are you really what you say you about? And then once the fun is over, you're kicked out. That's how that works. And then also, a lot of women also make the mistake of, do not ever believe that a man is not judging you. Do not ever make that mistake as a woman, to think that a man is not judging you, right? Because it will come out. Whether it comes out via his anger, it's going to come out. It's going to come out. And it typically comes out during the angry moments. You'll find out what a man really feels about you in those angry moments. And I'm going to tell you, a lot of girls, that a dude met in the dance club or met a certain way, those men are quickly, when something you do that is disagreeable, you're going to be called all kind of WHOREs. And he's probably already calling you those things behind your back to his friends. But on top of that, every little disgusting thing that you do with a man, those men or do with the man or that he knows about, he's going to be disgusted by. Even if, like I said, he's going to judge you, even if he doesn't tell you to your face, he's going to definitely be with his friends judging you about it. So a lot of women make that mistake, and a lot of, I feel like teenage girls, primarily it starts in teenagehood, where those girls make those mistakes. You cannot, as a woman, make those mistakes, ladies. You cannot make those mistakes, because when you make those mistakes, those are the mistakes that give you a reputation. And, other men definitely, I don't know if y'all have heard the theory on men being homosocial. They definitely care about what other men think. And no man wants to be sitting around as the brunt of all the jokes, and you the brunt of the joke. Unless definitely he know that what they saying about you is not true. That's the only way that it's not gonna, it's not gonna affect anything for you. But if he know for a fact that it is some truth to that, or his friends can present some truth to that, he's not gonna be thrilled with that. So the women, like I said, they rallying behind Meg Thee Stallion and the rest of that stuff, trying to make this an all-woman issue, that women are not protected and the rest of that stuff. And it's really like, this is not an all-melanated woman issue. This is a certain women exist in delusion. You're not getting the wife in the fairy tale package. You're not to say that marriage is perfect, but you're not getting the fairy tale package, and you're existing as who they pay in the alleyway and discard. You're just not. You're not. I don't care how. I don't care if the women show you they Chanel bag that they got afterwards. I don't care if they got flew out to an exotic place. At the continuation of the day, when you become a certain age or whatever, and that starts to not work for you, and that's generally how that happens to the player club, whether you a male or a female, and you in the player from the Himalaya club, that stuff starts to slow down. And once that starts to slow down, and people are like, you'll have people also, you'll have curses and stuff attached where, you'll have the spirit of rejection and that sort of stuff attached because you have entered into covenant agreements with immorality and stuff. So in the word, it says that, they paint themselves up, make themselves up to look fair, but their lovers will despise thee. So that's not just like, because the Bible has like parables and stuff. That's just not a parable. You could expand upon that. Like literally making yourself up to be a siren and sensual and thinking that that's the key to liberation, when that's really the key that non-disciplined men from the kingdom of darkness have given to you, so that it's just easier to have their way with you and discard you. You could continue that on the road to destruction, or you could really get freedom by existing in modesty and staying out the way, enjoying life, worshiping the Most High Yah. And, the reward for a righteous woman is a righteous man, and the reward for a wicked woman is a wicked man. So you cannot want a righteous man and you existing in wickedness. That's the moral to this story. And, women, they could continue to exist in delusion, thinking that they're going to do all of this stuff, and it's going to, yield a harvest, a bountiful harvest. It's not. It's not. The wages of sin is death. Now, I'm out. Y'all let me know what y'all think about the Meg Thee Stallion, Klay Thompson situation. And then just to speak a little bit on the video that was sent to me where it was like a clip of Dr. Cheyenne Bryant talking about how she said the drop dead gorgeous women, a lot of them are alone. That's not a lie. A lot of them are alone because they are existing in vain and vanity sins that they have not repented from. It's nothing wrong with you being beautiful. It's nothing wrong with you being pretty or existing in pretty privilege. Let me make that clear. But when you're vain and there's nothing else to you, you will get the results from that. And a lot of these women, they throw shade at women that are not necessarily, and I hate this type of comparison, because it's like so these women in the hyena kingdom, they like to pretend that men really didn't marry who they wanted to marry. Like, men will not get married if they don't want to get married. Please understand that. So you're going to really say that a man lugged a woman along and was like, oh, I want to get married to you. They don't have to do that. They don't have to do that. And I feel like it's a lot of women's excuse, because all they want to focus on is looks instead of working on the inward parts of themselves, on why they're not attracting a man. And I'm not talking about doing like, the cliche type of stuff. I'm talking about like really focusing on inner work, inner self work, getting close to the Most High Yah, changing their life, changing their habits, and getting out of the siren wares. They would really get the type of man that they want. But instead, because they're wicked, and a lot of these women, they run around in the Christian community too, with the siren wares on. They look like the world, and they're getting the same dogged out world results that those women in the world are getting. And then they say, oh, the girls that are mediocre, it has nothing to do. You viewing women in a childlike little girl mindset. You think because you have spent money on the physical that you are better than the next woman, and that's not necessarily the case. And not to mention, Some men that I've noticed that I'm looking at, on social media, they're married to beautiful women, and the women are not vain. So sitting there talking about drop dead gorgeous and this, that, and the third, and a man will marry somebody that's mediocre, it's kind of like, mediocre to who? It could be mediocre to have all of the vain aesthetics to a man. It's like women pretend to know what men want, but a lot of them are repelling men. It's really crazy, y'all, because they do not listen to what men actually want, and they do instead they fall into what males lust after, and then they confuse that with love. It's crazy. If a man really wanted you, he would respect you, and you wouldn't have to be a side piece to somebody's marriage. That doesn't mean that a man wants you. That means that a man wants to destroy you. This is how messed up in the head, y'all, some of these women are.